This is Dee Carter with Get Your Health Right San Antonio. The rest of this month we're focusing on getting rid of diabetes. Listen to what my friend Dr. Joe Wallach has to say.
Minerals. Now what about these long-lived cultures that were written up in the National Geographic in January of 1973? What was special about them? Is it genetic? No, they're all different races, they're all different religions, different cultures. The Tibetans from certain mountain tribes up there in the Himalayas, and the Hunzas in the eastern Pakistan and the Karakoram Mountains, the Russian Georgians, Azerbaijanis, Abkhazians, and the Turkestanis in the Caucasus Mountains in western Russia, and the Vilcabamba Indians from the Andes of Ecuador, and my favorites, I just like the name, the Titicacas from the Andes of Peru. What could possibly be a common denominator between all these peoples? Well, there are two. Number one, even though they're different religions and different races, they were all persecuted people. They were all victims being chased by the king's men or bandits or whatever, and they chose to live in what would be called the bad lands of their country. I mean, horrible, nothing, no soil, nothing but rock. And just out of the throw of the dice, nothing that they thought about, they picked places to live in that had 60 to 72 minerals in the parent rock of the mountains they chose to live in. Number two, they chose places that had less than 2 inches of precipitation a year, no rain, no snow to speak of, so they had to pick places that had a permanent water supply, and every one of these cultures picked places that were within 50 to 100 miles of glaciers, and they all built aqueducts to carry water from glaciers to their place where they lived and worked and farmed. Now the water that comes out from underneath of glaciers is not clear, like tap water, Perrier, Evian, or glacier water, or geyser water, or Calistoga water. It's called glacial milk because the water that comes out from underneath the glaciers has so much rock dust or rock flour suspended in it that it's called glacial milk. It looks like whole milk, kind of a bluish white, bluish gray, as opposed to clear. And if you boil away a quart of glacial milk, you get 2 inches of minerals in the bottom of that quart jug. By contrast, boil away a quart of Evian or Perrier water at 20 bucks a gallon. I mean, we're talking price here compared to gasoline. Would you ever have thought that water would be more expensive than gasoline? Kind of interesting, isn't it? Now, you boil away a quart of Evian or Perrier water, you'll get as much mineral as you get on the head of a pin. A big contrast. Now, not only did these people drink this highly mineralized water and get 8 to 12% and 3 to 5% after age 50 because it's metallic minerals, it's ground up rocks as these glaciers move up and down the mountains. More important than drinking it, they irrigated with it. Week after week, month after month, year after year, generation after generation, for 2,500 to 5,000 years, they irrigated with this glacial milk. They replaced literally thousands of tons of these minerals back into the soil every year through this irrigation with this glacial milk. And all their plants are rich with these colloidal minerals as a result. And all we do is put in NPK, 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 and it takes 5 to 10 years to deplete these nutritional minerals from our soil. As a result, last year we paid $1.2 trillion, that's with a T, $1.2 trillion for health care. These people don't get diabetes, they don't get heart disease, osteoporosis, arthritis, cancer, they don't get glaucoma, they don't get cataracts, they don't have birth defects, they don't have jails full of violent criminals and drug addicts. They don't have a single hospital. They don't have Blue Cross, Blue Shield, major medical hospitalization. They don't have a single doctor, and they don't have these diseases, and they live to be over 120 to 140. Now, can you live to be over 120, 140 without colloidal minerals? No. Can you get all these colloidal minerals out of our food supply in the United States? No. Well, can you keep all the things that we love about the United States? Because if I were to pay your way to go there and live and guarantee you'd live to be over 100, you wouldn't do it because they don't have Kenmore kitchens, they don't have electricity, they don't have central heat, central air, they don't have roads, they don't have cars, they don't have televisions, they don't have television channel changer. I mean, how can you be a couch potato without a television channel changer? So can you have all these things we love about America, including health insurance, and still get colloidal minerals? And the answer is, of course, yes. These colloidal minerals are available to you. They've been around since 1926. And of course, they're plant-derived. They actually come from an ancient prehistoric plant deposit. About 1926, there was this prospector who was an abysmal failure in southeastern Utah who noticed when he, even though he couldn't find gold or silver, but he did notice when he drank this funky-tasting water in the stream, the only water source available to him, after a couple of weeks his arthritis went away. And he backtracked this stream and he found that it originated in a prehistoric valley that had a forest in it. And when these trees and brush and grasses took up all the elemental minerals from the soil, converted them to colloidal minerals for their own use, there was a cataclysmic event That forest was entombed, that valley and that forest was entombed by a volcanic eruption. A very thin layer of mud, ash, and lava, not heavy enough to compress this stuff into coal or oil. And it was very arid in there, not enough moisture to fossilize or petrify this plant material. So today, if you look at it, it just looks like real dark chocolate coffee grounds. And you squeeze it between your fingers, it is the same consistency as a chocolate chip you might put in an oatmeal cookie. It's kind of waxy. That's because it's not rock, it's ground up plant material. We grind this stuff up into a flour, we soak it in a filtered spring water for 4 to 6 weeks, and we leach those colloidal minerals out of those plants that were taken up in the prehistoric days. Things that you can't get out of your soil and your food anymore today. And of course, that's been around since 1926. We have liquid multiples that have been around 10 years and 1 year and so forth, and these are all available to you also. I want to thank you all very much. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America.
Two of my friends have been able to get rid of their diabetes medications for good just in the last week. You could be next.